What's good, y'all? Welcome to Iron Boo. Thanks for stepping through. Got one from the YouTube channel Dangerville. Don't think I've responded or reacted to any of the videos on this channel, but I do watch them in my free time sometime. So, the scariest Godzilla scene ever. Top 10 terrifying scenes. I'm going to tell you what my most terrifying Godzilla scene is. It wasn't one that I seen, grown up as a kid, which you would think normally would be the case. No. It is Godzilla -1. The chase scene. Godzilla in the water. The first encounter we get with the Goji after his juvenile form in the beginning of the movie. And he is just staring the boat down menacingly, knowing that anytime he could just catch up to it and destroy that boat, rip it in half with complete ease. He's just like swimming. The eyes look crazy, look focused. Super terrifying, super horrifying. I have never seen Godzilla as terrifying as that. It put chills down my spine. Like picturing myself in that situation. Absolutely terrifying. That's it for me. Godzilla -1. That Godzilla was a menace. Is he the strongest? No, he's very small. He couldn't put it in the legendary Godzilla. It doesn't matter. That Godzilla was aura-farming, terrifying, pure evil. That was the only Godzilla movie I ever watched where I was like, yo, we gotta take this fool down. I'm always on Godzilla's side in every movie until -1, and I was like, this guy gotta go. This guy's gotta go. Anyway, I'll shut the hell up. Let's get into it. That's gotta be, if not number one, that's gotta be up there in the top 3.
Godzilla has been through various iterations throughout the years. Some have been lighter-hearted and, dare I say, cute, but he's also had his fair share of
Jaguar,
smashing through cities and causing unfathomable torment. The King of the Monsters has made a name for himself for having some of the most haunting scenes in the kaiju genre. So today, we felt like taking a look down memory lane and finding the top 10 most terrifying Godzilla moments. This can be any monster from any Godzilla film from any era. Welcome home, residents. It's your Mayor Alistair back once again. Let's get to that list. When most fans think of Godzilla vs. Destroyer, they immediately jump to that final battle. Burning Godzilla. But before all that, we get what might be the closest the franchise has ever come to a horror movie. The early stages of Destroyer don't appear as one big kaiju, but as dozens of smaller crab-like creatures. They scuttle through dark hallways, ambush soldiers, and attack people in close quarters. This whole sequence...
Okay, so it's not just necessarily, I guess, Godzilla. It could be any scene in a Godzilla movie. Could even be a different monster. I didn't think about that. But for me, my answer still stays the same with -1 Goji.
Plays out less like a Godzilla film and more like something straight out of Aliens. Guns flash in the dark, soldiers scream as they're dragged off screen, and there's a claustrophobic sense that you can't escape. It's unnerving because we're so used to giant kaiju battles that seeing humans hunted down by something smaller but still utterly lethal feels like something we hadn't seen before.
That's pretty
the horror isn't from a city-leveling giant, it's from being stalked in the shadows, and to me, that might be even more terrifying. Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack features one of the darkest versions of Godzilla ever seen. Gone is the heroic or even neutral interpretation. This Godzilla is a literal embodiment of vengeance possessed by the restless spirits of those who died in World War II. In one chilling scene, a woman lies in a hospital bed, already terrified from the chaos outside. She looks out of the window.
I've never seen this one.
Godzilla's hulking body lumbering towards her. She thinks he's going to walk straight through the building until he seemingly walks on by. There's a split second where you think maybe she'll survive. And then his tail comes in and the entire building is obliterated in an instant. It's scary on its own, but the way the film plays it with a bit of grim irony makes it even more impactful. There's almost a cruel sense of humor in how this scene...
It is. I'm even laughing at it.
She's okay, and then obliterates her without hesitation. It's just perfect timing. That combination of perfect timing with this dark terror makes this scene unforgettable.
I've never seen it, but I will not forget this scene ever.
Gareth Edwards' Godzilla took a grounded approach to the King of the Monsters, and one of the best examples
Godzilla
is
2014
sequence,
cinematography was
arrives in pursuit of the Hawk Muta,
so good.
and the
It was
ocean
so
starts
scenic.
to rise. The city streets suddenly flood.
That's one thing I love about Godzilla 2014 is the shooting perspective. They did a lot of bottom up shots where you're looking at Godzilla from the ground level, and it made him seem so much more massive, even though he's smaller than all the Godzilla versions and Legendary that came after him. But the scaling, how they shot it, was so well done, it made him seem bigger. I miss that about in the other movies that they had right in 2014. They got the scale perfect.
People panic as water surges in, cars float away, and buildings crumble under the pressure. What makes this scene so effective is how much it mirrors real-life disasters. Audiences can't help but think of tsunamis, sudden, overwhelming waves that destroy everything in their path. It's terrifying not just because of the kaiju, but because it feels plausible.
Yeah.
If monsters did exist, this is exactly the kind of disaster they would trigger.
Great
That's
take.
exactly what 2014 was designed to represent.
Great take.
The King of the Monsters as a reflection of real natural disasters.
Yeah.
The sound design
See,
here is
look at
also
that. Look at the
fantastic.
scaling.
Hear the distant rumble
Look at that
before
shot.
The water crashes through, and then silence as people and debris are left floating in the aftermath. For a moment, it's less about Godzilla himself and more about the horrifying reality of being caught in nature's wrath. Godzilla's singular point
I had my
was a
issues with
fresh kind of horror to
2014,
the
but
franchise.
that wasn't one
Before
of them.
Godzilla even shows up, his presence is foreshadowed by this mysterious red fog, a manifestation of archetype, a trans-dimensional substance capable of manipulating reality and creating the kaiju we see in the show.
So I just
This
learned about
borders
this
on
Godzilla
cosmic
like
horror,
2-3
something
weeks
so
ago.
terrifying, humans can barely comprehend it. It rolls across town.
It's like plot
spoiling
armor Godzilla.
everything it touches. It's unnatural, unsettling, and it makes the world feel contaminated, like something terrible is about to happen and there's no stopping it. This concept turns Godzilla from a monster you can fight into an almost apocalyptic force of nature. Roland Emmerich's
Really?
is one of the most
Zilla.
divisive films in the franchise, but even critics agree that first reveal of Godzilla is genuinely pretty tense and frightening. The scene unfolds like a
It was
natural
awesome.
disaster. The ground shakes,
This movie will always have a special place in my heart.
buildings collapse, but the filmmakers hold back in showing Godzilla in full. Instead, we only get glimpses through rain, smoke, and collapsing buildings. That choice makes him feel mysterious and even more terrifying. For all its flaws, this sequence stands out as a terrifying example of how effective Godzilla can be when obscured.
Mr. Kamen,
Godzilla
you're
versus
married,
Hedorah takes
and
a
you're very beautiful.
unusually
Has anyone ever told you that
place.
before?
Hedorah, the smog monster, does more than mindlessly destroy buildings. It alters the very environment that we rely on. His sludge dissolves people alive, coating their bodies in corrosive ooze. The film even goes as far as to show a baby dying from the toxic sludge, which is easily one of the darkest places the series has gone. The imagery
I've never
is
seen this
disturbing.
movie.
People run, clutching their faces, eyes burning as the smoke fills their lungs. Bodies collapse, lifeless in the streets, and then dissolve into mere
Damn.
skeletons. It's shocking for a Godzilla film, especially from the Showa era. But what makes it terrifying is the metaphor. This film reminds us that human industry created this horror.
Yeah.
The real-world consequences of pollution could be just as devastating. It was intended as a message, a horror to remind you that the nightmare doesn't end when the credits roll.
Japan is always sending a message. And environmental
In
science.
Godzilla King of the Monsters, we're introduced to a Ghidorah unlike any before him. An alien creature, ancient and godlike.
I figured they'd have
During his
Ghidorah
battle with
in
Godzilla
here
in
from
the
this
ocean,
movie.
One of Ghidorah's heads is torn clean off. For a moment, you think humanity might have a chance. That is until the oxygen destroyer stops the fight in its tracks. Then, in eerie silence, we watch the still water before Ghidorah bursts out and circles back to the erupting volcano. And a new head slowly grows back. Tendrils extend and disgustingly
It's a cool
form
scene.
bone, muscle, and tendons, and slowly we see the head reforming as it once was. The sight of this dragon-like titan standing against a volcanic backdrop regenerating as if nothing happened, is pure nightmare fuel. The cross pointing towards him as well symbolizes that this is something demonic. It adds a layer of cosmic horror to Ghidorah. He isn't just a monster you can fight, he's something beyond our understanding. Something unnatural that refuses to die. Not part of the natural order. Watching that head slither back to life tells you this isn't a creature bound by normal rules. He's a god of chaos, and he's unstoppable. Well, until Godzilla shows up again.
Nuclear
Few scenes in the
Godzilla.
entire franchise are as devastating
Shin
as
was
Godzilla's
as
first
different
use
as
of
anything.
atomic breath. When he finally unleashes it, the beam cuts through Tokyo like a surgical blade. Buildings are sliced in half, flames engulf the city, coating
As a
everything in hellish light.
sharp
The sound
laser
is unbearable,
atomic
a
breath.
shrill, high-pitched shriek that echoes
Like
as people
precision.
scream and run. Unlike previous versions, Shin Godzilla's attack feels more like a weapon of mass destruction than a natural ability. It's terrifying in precision, as if he's deliberately punishing the city.
Very
What's left is a
precise,
city
tactical.
coated in fire. No life left
Then when
inside,
it's like shooting
just
out of his
ash and destruction.
dorsal fins is
For many,
crazy.
this was the closest the franchise has come to capturing that true horror of nuclear devastation since 1954.
Come on,
And for
I
that, he
know
deserves the number
-1. My scene's got to be top 3.
Godzilla -1 gives us one of the most
There it is.
nerve-wracking and unique Godzilla sequences ever.
There it is.
Survivors of Japan are already on edge from the war, but then Godzilla arrives, hunting them like prey. The sequence plays out with the tension of Jaws. You know he's there, lurking, waiting for the right moment to strike. He raises up and follows closely behind the vessel. Eyes locked on, and you just know he wants to obliterate you. One slip up will lead to your demise. And then, when you think they might have a chance after they blow up his skull with a mine,
Look at
Godzilla
that.
reveals
Look at
his
that.
regenerative ability. How do you kill something that just keeps coming back? It's horrifying because it takes away the illusion of hope. You can't fight him. You can only run, and even then, you might not make it.
Boom, boom,
Before we get to
boom.
number 1, here's some monstrous honorable
Y'all know what I'm
mentions.
talking about. Dude, so I started watching this back when it first came out many years ago, but I never really followed through with it. Freaking Godzilla Earth.
And at number 1, we have the gonorrhea joke.
Ghidorah, the one who's many.
What?
She's a gonorrhea.
Well, I'm obviously joking. The scariest Godzilla moment of all time will always be the original Rampage
figured-
from 1954.
I figured that'd
This
probably be
wasn't
one.
just a monster movie. This was a nation processing real trauma only 9 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah.
Godzilla tears through Tokyo with no mercy. Buildings collapse, fire consumes entire districts, and the screams of civilians echo through the night. The black and white imagery makes it even more haunting, with stark shadows highlighting the destruction. One standout scene has a mother and daughter just accepting their fate as the world crumbles around them, as she comforts her child by saying they'll be with their father soon. It's the closest the franchise has ever come to the unfortunate reality the series is based off. For Japanese audiences in 1954, it was a direct reflection of their lived experience.
Yeah.
A walking symbol of nuclear devastation. That's why,
Yeah.
even today,
Super
it
personal.
remains the most chilling scene in Godzilla history.
For all those reasons, exactly. I can't even argue
So
with
there
it.
you have our top 10 most terrifying scenes in the Godzilla franchise. The franchise is stocked full of frightening scenes that will leave impacts on you whether old or young. And there's plenty more from each of these films that I wanted to include, but I wanted to give more films the chance to shine. So maybe we'll do a part 2 someday. If there's any we missed out on, be sure to let us know. Which do you think is the scariest scene? Give us your opinions in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. and give us a big Kong-sized like if you want more top 10s. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.
Great list, great list. Godzilla has a lot of movies, and I've seen probably more than most people, if you're not a, Godzilla fan or hardcore fan. But even with that, I can't even remember every scene from every Godzilla movie, especially ones from, back in the day. But even as a kid, I probably watched more of the lighthearted ones. I think the explanation for the choices were magnificent, and all the context added was great. No question about it. Yeah, that for me, I get all the context and story behind it, the relevance of the OG movie, absolutely. But probably more just on the surface, just visually. That for me, that -1, boy, I tell you. And then when he shot his atomic breath, and we've never seen an atomic blast. It's more of an atomic blast than anything. It's not a flamethrower like Legendary. It's like, and then Godzilla's just admiring his work. I'm like, this dude is a menace. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about it, folks. I appreciate you for stepping in. Sound off in the comment section. What do you think is the most terrifying Godzilla scene of all time? Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. And that's all I gotta say about it.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.